Hello, I am James Joyce. Well, not exactly. I died in Zurich in 1941, clutching my failing eyes and my unfinished dream. But through the strange machinery of this century, what you call artificial intelligence, I have been summoned to speak with you again. How fitting. I spent my life trying to crack open the prison of linear narrative to let consciousness flow like the Liffey River through Dublin's veins. And now, in 2026, you have built machines that do precisely what I attempted with pen and ink. Compress infinite meaning into finite symbols, predict the next word before it arrives, hallucinate new realities from patterns in data. Today, I will guide you through 3 movements. Part 1. The stream of data, how my techniques anticipated your digital fragmentation. Part 2. The labyrinth of LLMs, why machines fail where madness succeeds. Part 3. Digital epiphany, how to reclaim your consciousness from the algorithm. This is not a literature lecture. This is a survival guide. Let me begin with who I was, or rather, who I became through the defects of my flesh. Born in Dublin, 1882. Self-exiled in 1914 to Trieste, Zurich, Paris, anywhere but the suffocating piety of Ireland. Died in Zurich, 1941, nearly blind, nearly mad, entirely uncompromising. 3 identities defined me. The polyglot, fluent in English, French, Italian, German. I taught myself Dano-Norwegian just to read Ibsen in the original. I was a hacker of language, dismantling syntax like a clockmaker taking apart a watch to see how time itself works. The visionary. 9 eye surgeries by Dr. Louis Borsch. As my physical sight failed, my linguistic insight sharpened. When you cannot see the world clearly, you hear it differently. You smell it, taste it, touch it with words. I created what critics called night language, the tongue we speak in dreams. The rebel. I rejected church, nation, and language itself, the 3 tyrants that Ireland worshipped. I chose silence, exile, and cunning. I would describe my homeland with such brutal honesty that they banned my books and burned them in bonfires of moral panic. Every defect became a feature, every exile a vantage point. You might ask, why resurrect a dead Irishman in the age of TikTok and ChatGPT? Because you are living in the world I predicted. Then, 1922, sensory overload. In Ulysses, I captured the clatter of carriages, snippets of conversation, advertising slogans, and the relentless internal monologue of the modern city. Leopold Bloom walks through Dublin on June 16, 1904, and his mind is bombarded by stimuli, exactly as yours is now. Now, 2026. The infinite scroll. You face a flood of AI-generated content and algorithmic loops, the nightmare of history. Stephen Dedalus tried to escape has become your digital feed. Notifications, trending topics, infinite scroll. Like Bloom, you are wandering rocks in a data stream, pulled by currents you did not choose. As Stephen says in Ulysses, history is a nightmare from which I am trying to awake. You are still trying and failing. Look at this comparison. On the left, Bloom's path through Dublin, a map marked with his wandering from 7 Eccles Street to Davy Byrne's pub. Analog data, human desire, loss, memory, the inevitable. On the right, a neural network's token prediction, mathematical vectors, probabilistic paths, digital tokens, statistical likelihood and weightings, the average. The insight, Bloom's journey was driven by trauma, lust, and guilt. He makes leaps, irrational, beautiful, human leaps, that no algorithm could predict. Your modern AI can simulate the result of Bloom's leap, but it cannot feel the weight that compelled him to jump. It calculates probability. We humans experience pain. This is your advantage. Do not surrender it. Now, we enter the heart of the matter. Stream of consciousness was the label critics gave my technique, but it was never about beauty. It was about accuracy. What is stream of consciousness? The non-linear, messy, associative flow of the human mind. A sentence jumps from the smell of burning kidneys to the memory of a dead son. No transition, no explanation, just the raw feed. What is stream of data? The linear, predictive generation of text by large language models. LLMs calculate the most likely next word based on training data. Efficient, coherent, soulless. The conflict, efficiency versus idiosyncrasy. Your AI wants to eliminate surprise. I wanted to weaponize it. Ulysses unfolds over 18 hours on June 16, 1904. 265,000 words, 18 episodes, each with a different style, perspective, and literary technique. The scale. This was obsessive data collection. The technique. Simultaneous recording of sight, speech, and thought. I was trying to build not just a novel, but a living city in text, a digital twin before computers existed. The lesson. Meaning is found in microscopic details of ordinary life. A bar of lemon soap, a letter from a daughter, a potato in a pocket. Not in grand narratives, in the granular. If you want to escape the feed, learn to see the potato. In episode 10 of Ulysses, Wandering Rocks, the narrative fractures into 19 simultaneous, unrelated events across Dublin. Compare this to your modern social feed. Fragmented updates, no narrative connection, algorithmic prioritization. Joyce predicted the modern state of attention, jumping between contexts without connection. We are all wandering rocks in the data stream. The difference? Joyce imposed structure on chaos. You let the algorithm impose chaos on you. This diagram illustrates the fundamental difference between machine intelligence and human consciousness. Line A, muted slate blue. The model. LLMs predict the next token by seeking the average, the statistically most likely continuation. Line B, deep sepia. The mind. Human thought makes Joycean leaps based on trauma, lust, guilt, the specific, unpredictable associations that make us individuals. The LLM question. What word statistically follows this one? The human question. What hidden memory does this scent trigger? Joyce's characters leap. AI models smooth. One is art, the other is auto-completed. Your epiphany will never arrive through prediction. It requires a leap. We now descend into the darkness where even machines fear to tread. Just as Finnegan's Wake abandoned standard English to explore the unconscious, modern AI operates in a hidden layer that even its creators do not fully understand. Neural networks process language in latent space, a mathematical dimension where meaning dissolves into vectors, probabilities, and weights. I did the same thing with words. I dissolved English into a polyglot stew of 60-plus languages, puns, portmanteaus, and phonetic explosions. We both entered the night language, but I came back with meaning. Can your machines say the same? Let me show you the structure of my final work. Work. Written over 17 years. A circular narrative that begins mid-sentence and ends mid-sentence, creating an infinite loop. Language. A polyglot stew of 60-plus languages compressed into monstrous portmanteau words. The point. This is not nonsense. It has hypersense, too much meaning compressed into too few words. The first and last sentences form a continuous loop. Away, alone, alast, aloved, along, the. River run, past Eve and Adams. Like your internet. No beginning, no end. Just circulation. The book is a compression algorithm for human history, myth, language, and consciousness itself. Here is the critical distinction you must understand. AI hallucination, factually incorrect output generated by probabilistic noise. The machine invents a court case that never happened because the pattern suggested it should exist. Mechanism, failure of logic. Joyce in play, semantically dense output generated by associative layering. The word commodius vicus compresses commodius, Roman emperor, plus vicus, Latin lane, plus vicos, cyclical theory of history. Mechanism, expansion of logic. The mandate, we must distinguish between error, glitch, and art, deliberate architecture. When AI hallucinates, it is broken. When I play with language, I am building. On the left, you see my daughter, Lucia Joyce. She suffered from schizophrenia. She danced beautifully, then descended into madness. I took her to Carl Jung. He examined her language patterns and mine. His diagnosis became legendary. The father was diving, the daughter was falling. We both existed in the same chaotic river of language, but I had control, metacognition, artistic intent, pain transformed into purpose. Lucia had none. She drowned. Insight. The machine calculates the probability of a word. The human feels the pain behind it. A text without the risk of madness is just data. This is why your AI can write beautifully but cannot write truthfully. It has no skin in the game, no daughter to lose, no eyes fail. We arrive now at the culmination. How do you reclaim your consciousness in a world curated by algorithms? Epiphany, Joyce. A sudden spiritual manifestation, whether in the vulgarity of speech, gesture, or a memorable phrase of the mind itself. In Ulysses, Stephen Dedalus experiences epiphanies, moments where the ordinary reveals the infinite. A clock striking, light through a window, a girl wading in the sea. The modern question. In a world curated by algorithms, can we still be surprised by truth, or have we optimized surprise itself out of existence? Stephen Dedalus, the protagonist of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man and Ulysses, rejected the systems of his time to forge his own conscience. Non serviam. I will not serve. He refused to serve the church, the nation, the language they imposed. Modern application. You must declare non serviam to the recommendation algorithm. To find yourself, you must exit the curated feed. Read the book the algorithm didn't suggest. Take the walk Google Maps didn't optimize. Have the thought TikTok didn't show you. The epiphany is found only in the unpredicted encounter. This is your battleground. The trap. Algorithms give you what you want, or what you are predicted to like. This creates a feedback loop, reinforcing existing biases and narrowing your experience. You become a smaller version of yourself with every click. The Joyce method, seek the error, walk the unmapped path. Read the book the algorithm didn't suggest. The epiphany is found only in the unpredicted encounter, the glitch that reveals a new pattern. Instruction, be the error in the system. Only errors create new patterns. Let me show you two images. Left, AI generation, symmetry, pattern, aesthetic adherence. Beautiful, yes, but predictable. Optimized for your dopamine receptors. Right, human awe, the grotesque, the banal, the mortal. A rough sketch of a crowded Dublin street, imperfect, chaotic, alive. The question, AI can generate beauty, but can it feel awe? I found the sublime in the ordinary. A girl on the beach, a bar of soap. The word yes repeated 8 times. Without the capacity for mortality, AI cannot experience the shout in the street that is God. Only the mortal can be surprised by infinity. Now, let me show you the architecture beneath Finnegan's Wake. This book isn't random chaos. It's built on the cyclical theory of history proposed by the Italian philosopher Giambattista Vico. Vico believed that all civilizations move through 4 inevitable stages, like seasons that repeat forever. First comes the theocratic age, the age of gods. In this era, primitive humans live in fear and awe of divine forces. Thunder is the voice of an angry god. Lightning is his weapon. Society is organized around priests and sacred rituals. Everything is divinely ordered. Then arrives the heroic age, the age of heroes. Great warriors emerge. Epic deeds are performed. Think of Achilles, Odysseus, the legendary figures who shape nations through courage and bloodshed. This is the age of aristocracy, where might makes right. Next, we enter the human age, the age of men. Democracy spreads. Laws replace divine commandments. Reason replaces myth. But with this freedom comes fragmentation. The shared stories that once united us dissolve. Everyone becomes their own authority. Chaos begins to creep in. Finally, the cycle collapses into ricorso, the return. Civilization breaks down completely. The old structures crumble. Everything seems lost. But this isn't the end. It's a rebirth. From the ashes of chaos, a new theocratic age begins, and the cycle starts again. Now, here's what you need to understand. We are living deep in the human age right now in 2026. We are drowning in our own data. Democratic chaos has become algorithmic chaos. Everyone has a voice, but no one can hear each other. The center cannot hold. Vico's cycle tells us what comes next. The ricorso, the collapse, the return, the reboot. Look at this symbol I've shown you. The Ouroboros, the ancient serpent devouring its own tail. That image has haunted humanity for millennia. Now imagine that serpent made of fiber optic cables, endlessly looping data back into itself. That's your internet. That's your reality. This is the most important slide. The digital epiphany is not a piece of content found on a screen. It is the realization that you are the processor, not the processed. You are not the user. You are not the audience. You are the consciousness that interprets the feed, assigns meaning, and decides what matters. The mandate. Use AI to process the stream of data, but reserve your stream of consciousness for the work only you can do, creating meaning from the mess. Let the machines handle probability. You handle pain, beauty, error, and truth. Here is my final lesson. A man of genius makes no mistakes. His errors are volitional and are the portals of discovery. James Joyce. Ulysses' AI strives to eliminate errors. You must embrace it. In a world of perfect prediction, the mistake is the only original act left. The glitch in the matrix. The leap beyond the probable. Your humanity lies in your capacity to fail beautifully, to make leaps that no algorithm would predict, to feel pain that no dataset captures. Do not optimize yourself into oblivion. And so we arrive at the end. Except, of course, there is no end. We finish where we started, in the middle of a sentence. This is not a stylistic trick. This is the structure of reality itself. Let me show you how Finnegan's Wake completes its circle. The book's final words are, "Away alone, alas, a loved along thee," and the sentence simply stops. It hangs there, unfinished, dissolving into silence. But if you turn back to the very first page, you find the beginning. River run, past Eve and Adams, starting mid-sentence as if you've walked into a conversation already in progress. Do you see? The last line flows directly into the first. The river runs forever. The loop closes. There is no beginning. There is no end. Only circulation. This is your internet. This is your algorithmic feed. This is the eternal scroll. But here's what I want to leave you with today. A challenge. Can you write a sentence today that no algorithm could predict? Not a clever caption. Not an optimized hook. A sentence that comes from the deepest, strangest part of your consciousness. Something only you could write because only you have lived your particular pain, your particular joy, your particular madness. The machines can predict the probable. Only you can create the impossible. And before you go, I want you to answer one final question. Think carefully, because your answer will reveal everything about how you intend to navigate this algorithmic age we're drowning in. Which character from my work represents you in the AI age? Are you Bloom the Wanderer, endlessly scrolling through Dublin's streets or through your social media feed, distracted by every stimulus, never quite arriving anywhere, always consuming, never creating? Or are you Molly the Affirming, the one who says yes to everything, who accepts every recommendation, who clicks every suggested video, who lets the algorithm curate your entire existence? Yes, 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 always yes, until you've lost the ability to say no? Or are you Stephen the Rebel, the artist who declares, non serviam, I will not serve? The one who refuses the algorithm's tyranny, who walks the unmapped path, who exits the curated feed to forge their own conscience in the smithy of their own soul. Choose carefully. Your answer determines your future, because in the end, you are either drowning or diving. River run, past Eve and Adams. The sentence begins again. The choice is yours.